What's up, everybody? It's your boy Orlando, aka King Smitty. Welcome back to my trading journey. And today we're going to talk about a custom ETF created by Levels IO on Twitter called the Deadlift ETF. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe, everybody. I'm trying to get my channel up to at least 500 subscribers. See the merchandise. Half bull, half bear. This is my trading journey. And so you can see right here on this side, Levels IO has made a deadlift ETF with only companies with CEOs that lift weights and do fight sports, not just cardio. And it shows that it outperforms the S&P 500 by 140%, or 2.4 times over the last 4 years. And he says lifting weights equals money, right? And that's funny because exercise is very important for your overall brain health, right? People who exercise regularly have better mental health and emotional well-being, right? And that's what it says. And for this deadlift ETF, the companies that are involved in them, and you can see them, of course, on this side again. You can see these ETFs consist of things like Meta, Amazon, Nvidia, BlackRock, Microsoft, Apple, Uber, Goldman Sachs, right? These were the original assets inside of his custom ETF, which is going by the Deadlift ETF. It's not like the S&P 500 where you can go on the NASDAQ or Dow Jones or anything, or in one of your brokerage and type in Deadlift ETF and it's going to pop up. No, this is something that you have to go and copy. And this is like, I think it's 12.5% allotment for each one of the companies for that portfolio. So that way, if you want to copy it directly. But you can see each of these CEOs are involved in heavy lifting, but the weightlifting isn't what contributes these companies to having such great results. No, all these companies are great on their own, and combined, it's amazing growth for year to date. Right? Let's say the S&P 500 year to date has roughly an 18.6% return year to date. Now let's look at the year to date returns for some of the stocks in the Deadlift ETF. Meta year to date up 51.5%. Amazon year to date up 24.38%. Goldman Sachs year to date up 23%. Uber year to date up 24%. Microsoft up 16.1% year to date. Apple 19%. BlackRock 10%. Nvidia 147%. Right? So outside of BlackRock and Microsoft, all of them are beating the S&P 500 year to date. And Apple is pretty much on par because Apple is such a big allotment in the S&P 500 that it tends to be on par with the S&P 500 in a lot of ETFs, but it's still beating it barely, right? And it's not just, like I said, it's not just what they're doing in their spare time that promotes the company. Don't get me wrong, you feel better, you perform better, right? But even if you look at the net income to a lot of these companies, you can see that they're doing great, right? And before we go into the net incomes, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about the Deadlift ETF and the companies that's inside of them? And they just added some new companies as well that he found out that the CEOs lift weights, such as Airbnb and Coinbase. Although those two are below the S&P 500 year to date, over the last 4 years they have been doing decently, I would say. Um, so those results for them to kind of bring down the average for the year to date return, and you can see in the first picture how it is compared to the S&P 500. But the net income, for those who don't know, is the amount of money left after taxes and other deductions that have been taken out of a company's revenue, right? The net income shows whether a company is making profit after all the expenses are deducted from their revenue, and a high net income indicates that a company is generating more revenue than it is actually spending, right? And I'm just want to look at this year over year, the net incomes, and you tell me how these companies are doing. Meta. I'm not going to go into all of them, but year over year, they have a 72.8% growth in net income. Year over year. Amazon, 99% growth year over year in net income. Goldman Sachs, 150% return year over year, or gain year over year in their net income. Nvidia, net income increased 168% year over year. And then even the new one that is just recently being added into the custom ETF, the custom indice, Coinbase, net income is up 137% year over year. So you tell me, is there a correlation with the CEOs that are physically active, whether that's lifting weights, combat sports, or whatever else they do in their spare time, that got them added into the Deadlift ETF? Is that somehow more beneficial to the company that they are active than being active in their lives? Is that helping with their creative juices? Is that helping with their leadership in the company? Maybe. You let me know how you feel in the comments, whether it is helpful or whether it isn't helpful. And also let me know, how do you feel about the Deadlift ETF? Would this be something that you could see yourself replicating in one of your portfolios? Or even let me know in the comments, do you have your own custom indice, your own custom ETF that you created? Like companies that have women CEOs, or companies that have CEOs of a certain nationality. Just saying. But things like that. Do you have your own custom ETF? Like this Deadlift ETF. Which this Deadlift ETF is kind of a banger, man. Meta, big dog. Amazon, big dog. Goldman Sachs, big dog. Uber changed transportation, big dog. And like I said, Amazon changed consumer um, shopping, big dog. Meta changed social media, big dog. Apple changed phones, computers, technology, big dog. Nvidia is the new wave for the AI, which is like another new technological revolution, and Nvidia is kind of like leading it. Big dog. BlackRock speaks for itself. Is the company a little shady? Yes, but they're still a big dog. So you let me know how you feel about the Deadlift ETF. Can you see yourself investing into it, like replicating it yourself, or not? Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. You're